Hey, welcome to my slice of the internet. You are listening to this masterclass because you have stalled out on your business. You see yourself slowing down and you're just tired. You have other aspects of your life that you want to give your time and attention to, but you also see your revenue slowing down too. Even though you have built a multi six-figure brand and business, you find yourself taking on work that isn't aligned with your true vision simply to maintain revenue. And deep down, you are aware that you are not where you want to be yet, leading to a sense of sadness and constant hustle. The overwhelming processes with numerous steps only add to your plate. You've been running away from the idea of managing a team and struggling to let others support you at the same time. This reluctancy to delegate tasks that are not within your zone of genius have left you feeling overwhelmed and uncertain about how to progress next. You may even hold back from seeking help because you don't fully understand every single aspect of your business that you want to lean into, and you fear going without essential support. I get it. I do. Let me tell you what the problem is. You still think like an employee instead of a CEO. You never thought about working until you could replace yourself. You own a business, but it runs you. While embracing that quote unquote feminine energy and doing what feels good is important, I need you to recognize they can also be a guise for avoiding tasks that you know are necessary. Listen, at the end of the day, there are things that you know that you want to do. There's things that you know that there needs to be done in order to do the things that you want to do. But because you are not an expert in that area, because you're not an expert at YouTube, because you're not an expert at TikTok, because you're not an expert on LinkedIn and Twitter, because you're not an expert at podcasting, you are avoiding the thing that you want. Let me tell you, baby, this is called escapism. You are running, you're trying to escape. You're using vacations, napping, lounging, what feels right, fully embracing quote unquote soft life. But in actuality, though those things sound great on the surface, underneath it, it's also preventing you from implementing processes, routines, automations, and systems in your business. You even labeled them as too masculine, air quotes. But in truth, you just haven't explored the true potential of these tools. You haven't fully figured out how you're going to be able to add that YouTube channel to your business. Honey, it's time for you to put your big girl panties on today and confront some of these fears. So, through this masterclass, Automate and Scale, my goal is to equip you with the essential resources and tools needed to take your business to the next level. By the end of this audio masterclass, you'll be able to evaluate automation opportunities in your customer journey, allowing you to identify repetitive and time consuming tasks that you could be automating. You will also understand the significance of striking a balance between real time efforts and automated processes. This is going to ensure that you maintain a personal touch while also benefiting from automation. And lastly, we're going to explore how to leverage external expertise through outsourcing. But before we begin, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Alicia Ford. I'm also known as the Impact Mentor. I own Be Impactful Consulting, a done for you agency. I am deeply passionate about empowering online women entrepreneurs just like you to scale their businesses to new heights. I firmly believe that having a dream team of skilled and trained professionals is the key to increasing your reach, boosting your sales, and achieving your business goals through effective social media strategies, targeted content production, marketing funnels, and streamlined operations management. As a very shy, but also very loud introvert, I understand the challenges that come with scaling a business, and I'm here to support you every step of the way. So let's take your business to the next level, one automation opportunity at a time. Thanks for being here, and let's get started. So when it comes to automating and scaling, there's three main steps. Step one, evaluating automation opportunities. Two, balancing real-time control and automation. And three, outsourcing, leveraging external expertise. So let's get into evaluating automation opportunities. The first thing I want you to realize is that you need to, one, know your customer journey. And as someone who has built a six-figure business, I know your customer journey. But then at the same time, I'm also asking, do you really know your customer journey? And when I say customer journey, I'm not talking about quote unquote the funnel. I'm talking about look at every single place that you have created an opportunity for people to discover you and interact with you. So I want you to Look, study, understand your entire customer journey. I want you to know all the entry points. Look, where can they find you on social media? Where can they find you on your website? How many times can they touch you in a sense, right? Do you remember all the podcast episodes that you've been on? Do you remember on how many other people's platforms you've been on? Do you remember those things? How can someone else find you? Okay. This includes your website visits, platforms that you've also been on. And if I ask you this question, if I landed on your website, how would I become a client from your website? If I found you on social media, how would I become a client? If I got on your email list, how do I get on your email list? How do I get on the phone with you? How do I DM you? How do I know where I can find more content? How do I know what you do and how can I serve you? So when you go and you look at these touch points, how do I go from the website to on the phone with you? How do I go from the DM, from social media to your DMs? Like, what is the pathway? You need to know that there is a clear pathway somewhere. So map this out. This can be as simple or this can be as complex as you want it to be. You can simply by writing it down step by step, or you can draw a roadmap, or you can make a digital map. But again, you need to know because this is where the automation process even starts. You don't know where to automate if you don't know all your touch points in your whole customer journey. Okay. So once you've done this, the next piece of this would be identify what is repetitive and what's time consuming. There are things that are super simple, but they're extremely tedious and they're extremely time consuming. If you roll your eyes, if you dread doing it because it takes so long, i.e., podcast edit would be for me. I can do it. I know how to do it. I have the skill to do it, but it is so tedious for me. It takes me a few hours to do this. And out in those 2 hours, could I actually be doing something else that no one else could do for me, i.e., record the podcast, right? So there's nothing wrong with me recording the podcast, but do I have to edit? Do I have to do the show notes? Do I have to schedule, load, all those things? No, I don't. Do I have to make the graphics? Do I have to find the sound bites? Do I have to make the audiograms? No, I don't have to do those things, but can I do them? Yes. So for you, my little solo entrepreneur, can you do a lot of things in your business? Absolutely. Have done a lot of things in your business? Absolutely. You wouldn't have grown to six figures without it, right? But like I said earlier, you're still thinking like an employee. You never thought, just for a moment, replacing yourself in a lot of these tasks. You can be the CEO, but run the company. Okay. So again, looking at all the customer points, how they go from A to B, how they go from B to J, where is the repetition? Where's the time consuming task? These are the things that you want to think about actually potentially being the things that you outsource. So I want to tell you about one of my clients. And for her, I do create a lot of her processes for her customer flows. She's also a done for you agency as well, but she's different from me. Let's put it like that. And when clients come in order for the team to be able to fulfill a lot of the assets that are required for the client, we had to create a process because we were telling the client that we were going to have their stuff by a certain time or certain in 4 months. And so that required a process, that required a flow. We had to know step one, step two, the client does this, then they do this, then we have this, and then we get this, and then we move to this, and then this gets done. Like that had to be mapped out. I do that for the client, and it just makes everybody's job so much easier when they know what they're doing when they're doing it, almost like an assembly. And if all I have to focus on is my part, my piece of the pie, then I don't really have to worry about the whole big old pie all the time. But that's what processes are for. This is the importance of having a process and mapping it out and knowing what it is. You might have it in your head. You might know intuitively what to do for or how you do your social media, how you post, how you create content, how you schedule content. You might have an intuitive Nate in how you record a podcast, how you do your sales process, how you close sales, how you work leads. You might have an intuitive process, but if you're ever going to get to the point where you start to back out of that stuff and start to pass that on, you're going to have to get that stuff out of your head and onto paper. So I want to stress again the importance of automation. So I know, but do you really know? Because if you really truly knew, then how you feel, your fears, your doubts, all of these things would not be on the same level as the benefit. So it shouldn't outshine the benefit. And the benefit is you get to improve your efficiency. What do I mean by efficiency? And you're like, oh, that sounds real like industrial, Alicia. But think about it. If you do live stream to DM, meaning your process is, hey, I do a live stream, I tell people to DM me, and then from the DMs, I close them. Cool. What if out of the 100 views, 50 people DM'd you? Can you actually handle 50 people DMing you? But that's just off of the one live stream. What if you had multiple live streams? So now you might be thinking, oh crap, I might actually need help in the DMs. It doesn't have to be me, it can be somebody else, it can be my team. So, in this regard, this is where efficiency comes in. If it's repetitive, is if your people are saying the same thing over and over again, this is where automation kind of supports you, right? So it also helps you support yourself with consistency, just being consistent because it's automated. You don't have to think about it. It reduces manual workload. Guys, I know sometimes we want to do stuff in real time and we may be able to maintain it for a short amount of time, for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but it gets really hard when life gets in the way. You're sick, somebody else is sick, you don't have the same motivation, you don't have the same inspiration, and your business cannot function purely on how you feel that day. If you have automations in place, it reduces the friction between manual and real time action. Okay. So, step two, let's talk about balancing real time control and automation. So, the importance of finding a balance between real time effort and automation. So, when it comes to your business operations, again, we have defaulted to doing a lot of real time interaction. I feel inspired today. So I write a post and then I post it. I feel inspired to create a reel. So I create a reel and I post it. But what happens tomorrow when you don't feel like it? But you try to set this expectation that I was going to post a reel once a day. So that in itself is already, you're already off your intentions. But if it was scheduled and posted automatically, you wouldn't have to worry about it because it's already done. Now, here's some of y'all saying, oh, that means I'm mass producing. It means I'm not being as intuitive as I can. No, it means you have to get better about when you're in a state of inspiration, batching more. Instead of just focusing on one inspired post, can you punch out two? Instead of just focusing on one inspired reel, can you punch out three? You can maximize your states of inspiration, but you have to think like that. So how can I get more out of this? And let's just be honest, you can actually put yourself in an inspired state. Like it's not something that you're just walking, bam, it hits you. You can put your own self in an inspired state. If you truly wish to create from a place of creativity, a place of inspiration, you can put yourself in those states because you know what inspires you already. You already know what puts you in a state of creativity in the first place. So just replicate the situations so that you can go into a space of creativity and inspiration so that you can produce in batches. Finding this balance between real time and automation is going to save you because if you learn to master batching, this is where you get to involve the real time stuff and involve the automation. But here's the cool part. Once things are scheduled, you can still post in real time. If you wake up on a Monday and you already have 2 things scheduled to go, that doesn't stop you from posting when you feel inspired. Post anyway. They just got a little bonus thing. But then you don't feel the pressure tomorrow of having to put yourself in that state again because there's already 2 posts scheduled. So on the other hand, automation, some people are turning away from automations because they're looking at it from a technology standpoint. They're looking at it from a I hate rules. I love to go with the flow and which is fine. Cute. That's cute. Okay. If you're complaining, like all the things that I said earlier, you're worried about, you feel yourself slowing down, you want to slow down, you want to stop, you want to focus on some of the aspects that you have going on in your regular life. If you notice a huge change and you don't like it and you feel like it's going to affect your sales, then that's who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to the person who like, no, I like the way things are. I'm cool with the way things are. I'm talking to the girl or the lady, the woman, the CEO, the powerhouse who is like, I feel a shift, but I don't want my bank account to dwindle at the same time. So I know I need to be here. I'm talking to you. You're going to need some predefined processes. You're going to need to know what can be taken out of human hands. So that's where scheduling comes, those kind of softwares. But also, this is where outsourcing comes in as well. So you now get to outsource some of the creation piece. So for example, I am in the process of getting a podcast producer, not just an editor, but a producer. And so all I have to do is record. They take care of everything else. Because they know me so well, they already know how I like my stuff edited. So I don't have to give any direction. They manage all the direction. They know what sounds better, all of these things, because they are the expert. I don't have to be the expert in that area. I can just give it to the experts and they take care of it. And that's the part where you have to get to. You have to start to trust people in their own expertise. And I know that's scary because this is your baby. Your baby is cute. She's lovely. You don't want anybody to say anything bad about your baby. But at the same time, it takes a village to raise a baby. Okay. So stop treating your business as if you are a single mom. Okay. It takes a village to raise this baby. You need help. When it comes to having some predetermined processes. So I know some things you may not have thought about, but even in your onboarding. So what are some things that you do in real time now that if you have a software like Honeybook or if you have a software program, what's it called? If you have a software like Honeybook or you have a software like Dosado where you can actually create automated workflows the second someone pays. So if they're paying in Dosado, if they're paying in Honeybook, then it already knows and it already knows this and this book and this video, this survey, and it already knows to send an email to this place so that your client gifts get sent off automatically. The whole point is to take stuff off of your plate. Okay. So you can use automations for onboarding. And I know when I think a lot of people think automations, they think just funnels, but there's so much more that you can automate within your business that is beyond just sales funnels, right? Onboarding, lead sifting, meaning letting your funnels sift different leads so you know who's actually on your list and who's ready to buy, who still needs to be warmed up and who's not really a client. They're just there for the free stuff. So funnels and automations can do a lot of different things. And again, it creates consistency and accuracy, which is the whole point. Okay. And it's cost effective, y'all. Like if you can truly master a flow, it's going to save you so much, not just money, but time. And that's time is what you can't get back. Money you can get back. Time you can never get back. This second that you're listening, it's never come back. You can get $1 back. You can get $100 back, but you can't get back time. Okay. So we're going to move into the third step, which is outsourcing. So you've been hearing me talk about outsourcing throughout this whole masterclass, but I really want to get into it a little bit deeper. Outsourcing, leveraging external experience, leveraging external expertise, however you want to look at it. So under this, now that you have your customer workflow, now that if they come on my website, they know where to go. If they find me on social media, here's where they go. If I was on this person's podcast, this is where they came from, and all of these things. And then this is the process in which they can get on a call. This is the process where they can DM me. This is the process where they watch this and they take this action. Like you have all of that written down or mapped out, simple or as complex as you want. And then you also know what is tedious. So in order for me to have created this freebie, these are all the steps that it took. In order for me to produce this podcast, here's all the steps. In order for me to create 30 days worth of static posts on Instagram. This is all the processes. Once all of those things and you have them written down, typed up, wherever you're going to do it, then, or even record it, which here's a pro tip. If you don't want to type it, you don't want to write it, record it. Record yourself talking about the steps, transcribe it, and then load it into a Google Doc. And then you can use Uncle Chat GPT and tell them, hey, sort this into tasks. And you can plop the whole transcription there and it will sort it for you. And boom. Now you can put that inside of Asana. You can put that inside ClickUp and boom, pow. So I don't want to hear no more excuses. Okay. So when it comes to identifying your outsourceable task, again, this is stuff that's really tedious. This is stuff that's repetitive, things that is costing you time and energy. I'm less about money and more about time and energy. If it's costing you time and energy and it's taking away from things that only you can do, then it is outsourceable. Another thing that you can think about that's being outsourceable is projects that you want to take on that you're not an expert at, but you know you need support. So for example, if this is not your gig, if this is not something that you can handle, like figuring out what all your customer processes are, your steps, outsource that. Go find a project manager. You don't have to have a permanent one, but hire them temporarily to just help you find it. Hey, I need help mapping out all of my processes on how I do A, B, and C. You hire them temporarily, they help you do that, and bam, you're done. So sometimes people have a tendency to think, oh, if I'm hiring this person, I have to have them with me for 4 to 5 months. No, sometimes it's just a solitary project and you can outsource that. Even with a podcast, I don't have to have a full-time podcasting editor. If I know I'm going to record my seasons and batch them ahead of time, all I have to do is batch record all of my podcast episodes and then give them all of them and then give them X amount of time to get them all edited. So then it's just a temporary thing. So I do 15 episodes for my podcast. That's 15 weeks worth of podcast. I pay this person to do all of those. They get scheduled. And for the next 15 weeks, I don't need a podcast editor. So it's stuff like that where you have to start getting a little bit of ahead and start thinking about where's all the areas that I can maximize cost, time, money, energy, and just being able to take some things off my plate. So I back out of this and picture your business being able to do more as you back out of it, as you do less. So that's the goal. Your business is able to do more because you're backing out of it. And that's the beautiful part. So again, look at your customer journey. What can be outsourced to external teams, agencies, just individual contractors? These tasks are usually like your non-core activities, or if they're going to be passion projects, YouTube channel, podcast, online show, TikToks, whatever it is, and get smart about content creation. So again, you can also outsource just content in general. So content for social media, podcast editing, video editing, project management, sales calls, triagers, publicists, funnel builders, copywriters. So these are not even half of, but just get bigger about things that you could outsource. And again, some of the advantages of outsourcing is you get access to specialized skills. Okay. You're not an expert in everything. You're not going to be an expert in everything. You might be a jack of all trades, but you are not a guru in everything. And that is okay. You are a guru in where it matters. So by outsourcing your tasks to experts that are geniuses in their field, they do really well in their field. They don't need much direction. They are go-getters, they're self-starters, and they take the initiative. Those are the type of people that you want. They're thinkers. Those are the people that you really want to support you in these different projects. Okay. Another advantage is you get to focus on your core business activities. Again, for me as a podcaster, I have to record the podcast. Nobody else can record it for me. I mean, they could, but I care about my voice being on the podcast. I have to record the podcast episodes. You might have to be the one who does the live streamings. You have to be the one that's doing the doing the TikToks, recording. You have to be the one that's in the B-rolls, but you don't have to be the one that's editing them. You don't have to be the one that puts them together. You don't have to be the one that puts the captions and the colors, edits and all the sound effects and picking the music. You don't have to do that. And again, it saves on cost. So again, that's not just money, but that's also time, and it saves on energy as well. And it allows you to scale because you're one person, boo. We were not meant to hustle. We're not meant to grind for long periods of time. It's not that we can't, but we're not built to do it for long periods of time. So you can't scale when there's a fluctuation in your energy. But when you have help, those people are still doing the things that need to be done, whether or not you are there to tell them to do it or not. So let's just do a quick recap of this. We talked about automating and scaling. And we talked about the 3 steps that you are going to need. You're going to need to evaluate any automation opportunities. You need to balance real-time controlled and automation. And you're going to need to leverage external expertise when it comes to outsourcing. Let me introduce you to Soft Life Sales Funnels, as I am a done for you agency. And here with Soft Life Sales Funnels, it is a comprehensive solution tailored to women like you, solo entrepreneurs, 6-figure brands who want to achieve financial success through multiple streams of income by utilizing funnels. Our Soft Life Sales Funnel is the key to help you scale your business while still driving towards that annual revenue of 250,000 plus a year, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000. And Soft Life Sales Funnels is going to be able to support you with that. Why is it called Soft Life Sales? It's because I know you're walking into your soft life era. You're walking into slower mornings, slower days, lounging, and because you've built this business. And so we named it Soft Life because we understand that this is the next phase of your life. And we want to be able to support you in that slowdown without you feeling guilty. And we also know you still want to scale. It's not that you want to let go of your business. You still want to make money. You still want to make more money, but you don't want to be hands on in the process. By starting that passion project, the podcast, the online show, whether it's doing your group coaching programs, whether it's digital products, we are here to support you with your funnels. We address your challenges with your business continuity. You can get started today with Soft Life Sales Funnel by clicking the link in the show notes to get started. Our Soft Life Sales Funnels start at $2,500, and in 4 weeks, you will have 3 automated sequences that are really going to be able to support in identifying your ideal clients. Is going to be able to determine who is hot and ready to buy, who still needs a little bit more time, and who just needs to get kicked off your list in the first place. If you are ready and you're ready to take that first step towards realizing funnels and how they work for you and starting and walking into that automated piece, and you want to start with funnels, this is where Soft Life Sales Funnels is really going to support you. So thank you so much for listening to this audio masterclass. Click the link in the show notes to get started with your Soft Life Sales Funnels.